Welcome back to wagertalk.com. This is the question and answer session. This is part one. We're going to have 2 question and answer videos this week, and we're going to get things started, guys. Brett Allstat asked, Power 5 teams with new head coaches. What do you think? First game against the spread. Cheetah, you're our college guide's been digging in already. What do you think?
Sure. I actually asked him another question and responded to his tweet because I wasn't 100% sure what he was getting at. Ultimately, if there's a new coach and they're in a big school or Power 5 team, I don't think there is like a play on or play against automatically week 1 trend or anything like that exists. You have to look at a lot of other variables first. Obviously, if you're not, if you want to play against a new coach at a school in week 1, that's fine. But you don't want to pay a premium if the line's 3 or 4 points off because of that or something. I mean, you got to look at everything and look at all the angles. He later responded and said he was kind of just curious historically if there was like an ATS record in that spot. I'm not sure. I know we had Chris Andrews on a while back, and he mentioned historically he knows that new coaches in their first season don't do well against the spread, so he knows his power ratings before the season. He usually kind of maybe holds a point or 2 back for those teams. I'm not sure. I can't tell you one way or the other, but it seems like Chris believes that is the case. But he was referring to season long versus week 1, so that's kind of just the long answer is I don't really have an answer. But maybe Brian has.
Yeah, I could probably help you out here. I did a search on this maybe 5 years ago, so it's obviously outdated. But if a team is playing at home, they're a bet against. They're better if they play on the road. The reason why it's at home is everybody's got high expectations, got the new coach coming in. Your general feeling as a bettor is going to be he wants to blow somebody out. You're usually playing weaker opponents. Right. So he wants to blow somebody out and look good for all the alumni and everything. So the line gets bet up, and there's value on going against those teams at home. On the road, there's not that. They just want to go out there and win the game, and so you get a little bit better if you want to back them on the road. But for the most part, it all depends on what the line is, the situation. Sure. You can't make a generality, but I would prefer to go against a team at home in their first game.
And as we talked in, we did a video a couple weeks ago about, looking at things for the new season, what you look at, and too often new coaches are going to come with hype. And we talked about, Jim Harbaugh last year had a lot of hype. I bet against him in week 1 against Utah. He was going against a decent team, that had a foundation coming back and so forth. And we talk about it so often. Remember, when a new coach takes over, it's not his players that first year. He's working with the previous coach's players, and it's not always the same system. So you might have, a team, and I hate to use this and beat up on the guy, but it was a perfect example at Michigan of, several years ago when Rich Rodriguez went in there. Here's a guy that came in and is, he likes to run the football. Well, he didn't have the players in the quarterback there to do the style of offense that he wanted to do, and it just, it was a work in progress. But yet, when you get that new coach come in and he had success somewhere else, everybody expects that immediate same thing, and it just doesn't, happen that way. Todd Graham's another coach that has bounced around from team to team, and he has a totally different style, of offense. And if he goes to a team that was a running team and now he wants to throw the football, there's growing pains. I saw it at Pitt, and then as soon as he got things working, then he left, as he does. But those are one things to go with, that question there. So yes, there's no clear-cut answer to that, but those are the things you want to look for. Square Life asked, should you always go for it on 4th and 1? And then he has a second part, should you bunt with 0 outs and a runner on first? And I know the second one we're going to have fun. It's automatic, but Preston, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually looked these up to make sure I wasn't crazy about either one. I know I'll start with the bunting one because I know that's kind of just common knowledge now that you're never supposed to bunt. The actual numbers I saw is that if you get a guy on first base with 0 out, on average you're scoring 0.88 runs in that situation. If you bunt him over and then have 1 out, it drops down to like 0.67 runs expected in that spot. So you're decreasing your chances by about 25% of scoring a run by bunting the guy over. And there's some stats. I actually hadn't seen these before. Maybe you guys, how many times would you guess when a guy tries to bunt someone over from first to second, does it result in a double play historically?
I wouldn't even have the number, but
it was like almost 10%, which is crazy to me. Like 1 out of 10 times you actually get 2 outs.
It almost should have happened yesterday in the Indians game.
Did it happen yesterday?
First and second, and he bunted pop-up, but it went over the infielder's head. It could have actually
Oh,
been,
it ended up being an infield
could have
single.
actually
Okay, I
been a
remember
triple
seeing
play.
that.
If possible.
Well, it goes back because of the sabermetrics guys that put out the numbers. You go back to spring training and you're not working on bunting. And I agree with the numbers during a game. You're not going to do that early, but I'm old school. If I'm in the 8th inning of a tie ball game and I got runners, at first and second, or, I'm going to play old school and I'm going to move them over. I've seen it, where guys will hit away with, first and second because the sabermetric.
Well,
you got to put them into.
You have to look at history, and I'm with Cheetah on this one. You obviously do not bunt. It's just the situation. You got to go by the numbers, and the numbers say don't bunt. You're looking to maximize your run scored in that inning, and which tells you never to bunt. And so I would say never to bunt, although there are certainly many managers that are going to tell me I'm crazy.
They'll do it. Yeah, I think the fallacy is that now people say, well, they're rally killers when you bunt. And that's not necessarily the case because, like in that example, 0 outs, 1 on first. It's not killing a rally by advancing the guy to second. I mean, maybe it is, but it's also decreasing your chances of just scoring 1 run because people will say, oh, I won't bunt when we're just down 1 because we just need 1 to tie it in a close game late. Or if it's tied in a close game late, like your example. That's not true. It really is decreasing your chances of scoring that run when you move them over. And so you have to look at it that way, and the numbers say you're not supposed to bunt at all in that spot. So the correct answer for Ryan, his name's Ryan, is not to bunt at all. Real quick, as I know we're going to be running short on time in the video. The 4th and 1, I looked up some cool charts. New York Times did an article, if people want to look it up, it was in 2014. And they kind of created like a bot or a model that ran a bunch of scripts. And basically they said on 4th and 1, no matter where you are on the field, you're supposed to go for it. Anything else, 4th and 2, it decreases, you're not supposed to go for it back. But they're saying if you're on your own 9, which is like the worst possible spot to be 4th and 1, they're saying it's better off to actually go for it to get that yard and extend the drive versus when you're punting out of your own end zone half the time anyway, they get field position on the 35 or the 40 or whatever, and they're going to score anyways. If you don't get that 1 yard, it's not the end of the world. And so I thought it was interesting. I actually didn't know that you're supposed to actually just go for it blind, 4th and 1, no matter what.
Yeah, I did know that, and my only problem with that is the mathematical says you go for it all the time, but the situational, it depends on what the score is,
Sure.
who you're playing. If you're playing a team that's been going up and down the field on you, you better go for it.
Right.
I don't care what
They're
it
gonna
is.
score
Because they're
anyway
going to
from the
score
40,
anyway, and we
yeah.
saw that many times over the last few years. They do the conservative thing, and then the team goes down and scores on them anyway.
All right, we ran long on this one, so I'm going to kick the third question in part 1 into part 2, and we'll go with that. And guys, hey, don't forget, each and every Tuesday at wagertalk.com, it's $2 Tuesday. We pick one capper each week, and we offer his best bet for just $2. It's a great way to introduce yourself to Wager Talk or to a new capper. Check it out each and every Tuesday. It's $2 Tuesday at wagertalk.com. We'll be back with more.